Hey Dragons, welcome to week 7. Congratulations to making it this far through eSchool. I'm really excited for this week because this is the moment when our songs' stories will kind of reach their completion. This is the magic hour when it comes to being a songwriter or a song producer because we are going to start writing and recording our songs' verse lyrics. Now, although the hook of a song is the most memorable part, it's the thesis or the underlying story of the song, it's the verses that do most of the legwork in telling the story. So by the end of this week, my expectation is that you will be able to write and record lyrics for the 2 verses in your songs. Now remember, a verse is the part of the song that tells the story, the details. The lyrics change every time this section repeats. And just like in literature classes, the verse is responsible for the exposition, the rising action, and the resolution. Now, these can be the background information, including your setting, your backstories, even the conflict of the song, and finally, the last verse should include some sort of conclusion for all of these other elements. This week, I want you to understand really what the function of a verse is in pop music. And I also want you to know how to write a verse that is detailed, specific, and moves the song forward. We need to know how to accurately deliver verses that give enough detail to move the song's story forward. And in order to do this, our verses must have lyrics that change, even though the musical ideas and even the melodies in that section might repeat themselves. So let's take a look again at Bruno Mars's When I Was Your Man. I want to say that a good verse uses the least amount of words to tell the majority of the story. And this is really the art of songwriting. How much can you insinuate or imply by saying as little as possible? I want you to look at the second line of the first verse. What he's saying here is our song on the radio, but it doesn't sound the same. Now, what he's saying is very specific and detailed, but what he's implying is that he's listening to the song that he shared with the person he loved, and it no longer holds the same meaning to him because he's no longer able to be with that person. He's taking a very detailed part of the story and using it to tell much, much more. Just a reminder, the verse lyrics will not repeat, although the chorus lyrics do have lyrics that stay the same. So here's how we do this. Here's how we get started in writing a verse. Step 1, you have to tell your story. See, we can't just dive right into writing out the lyrics. We have to consider the story we want to tell. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine that you are texting with a friend and you are recounting the details of something really interesting that has happened to you. What would you include? What would you want them to be excited about? What stories, or I want you to remember that stories with interesting details and lots of interesting details are the most interesting ones to hear. And the most interesting details are usually true. So you're going to pick a story from your personal experience, and I want you to start typing out that story as if you were texting with a friend and telling them that story. I want you to consider who is your story happening to, what specifically happened, what exactly did that person or did those people do, why did they do it, and how did they feel. The more interesting details that you're able to include in texting your story, the better. So in the chat screen of Soundtrap, here's where you're going to get started. You're going to pretend that you're texting with your friend and telling them all the exciting details of the story, your song's story. Try to get them excited about it. Make sure to include at least 12 interesting details, and the more you write now, the more you type now, the more you will have to work with when you get around to finalizing your verses lyrics. So in a moment, you're going to go to the chat screen of Soundtrap, and you are going to start typing out all the details of your song's story. Once you're done, you're welcome to hit play again for step 2. Pause the video, go. All right, step 2. Now we need to find the key words or the key phrases from the story that you just typed into Soundtrap. What I want you to do is pluck moments from your story that feel the most compelling. These should be moments that make you, the songwriter, feel some sort of emotion, because if you feel the emotion, your listener will too. So look for any kind of poetry or interesting imagery in the details that you've ended up choosing from the story or the 12 or so details that you just typed out. I want you not to forget to consider how your listening audience will receive the details of your story. And in the context of what we talked about earlier in earlier lessons, like the Three Little Pigs, I have a couple examples here on the screen for you. Go ahead and track the screen just to see those examples. If I was telling the story of the Three Little Pigs, I picked 3 interesting key phrases that stood out to me. The pigs were in danger. They built homes for their safety, and the wolf was defeated. So in a second, you're going to choose 4 to 6 key phrases, and you will then later on, half of them will be in verse 1 and the other half will be in verse 2. And in the Soundtrap screen, I want you to pick those 4 to 6 key phrases and type them out again. Once you are done typing out your 4 to 6 key phrases, just like these key phrases here from the story of the Three Little Pigs, you can press play on the video and move on to step 3. Get ready, pause the video, go. All right, step 3. Now we need to start finding the ending rhymes in order to kind of insert a rhyme scheme into our lyrics. We're going to do this by researching rhyming words with the last word from each of your key phrases. This might take a little bit of work to find words that could lend themselves to your song's story, but here's a really great tool to do this. So you're going to use a online rhyming dictionary called RhymeZone. Or if you would like to use Spanish, you're welcome to use rimar.io, which is the same website but for Spanish rhyming words. And then you're going to type in the ending words of your key phrases. So for example, if the key phrase was the pigs were in danger, I would type in the word danger. If I were to do that, I would find that the rhyming words that might make sense for me to use are danger, nature, wager, and stranger. If I was going to use the key phrase, they built homes for their safety, the ending word from that phrase is safety, in which I found rhyming words like crazy, shaky, tasty. Or from the key phrase, the wolf was defeated, I found rhyming words cheated, greeted, and heated. So, like the previous steps, you must type these rhyming words into the chat screen of Soundtrap. You're going to go to RhymeZone or rimar.io, and you're going to choose at least 3 different rhyming words for each of the ending words in your key phrases, just like you see here. 3 different rhyming words for the key word in that phrase. Type those into Soundtrap chat screen. Once you are done, you can hit play and get ready for step 4. Go. All right, step 4. I'm calling this step working backwards. And working backwards means that we will use our key phrases as the second line in a rhyming pair that we are about to construct. So you're going to kind of lay out your screen like you see here on the bottom. I have a blank for the first line, and then the second line is the pigs were in danger. I have a blank for the third line, and then they built homes for their safety. I have a blank for the 5th line, and then the wolf was defeated. Those blanks are what we are about to fill in. And we are going to use our rhyming words in order to create a rhyming pair between line 1 and 2, a rhyming pair between line 3 and 4, and then finally a third rhyming pair for the last rhyming pair of my verse with line 5 and 6. We're going to round out the rhyme scheme by pairing these phrases with ending words that we already researched in RhymeZone. And as you say these phrases out loud, you can also try adding or subtracting words to maintain some semblance of rhythm in the lines you are writing. For example, I took the key phrase, "the pigs were in danger." I decided to use the word stranger as my rhyming word, and I was able to find some lines that worked. It turned into this: a knock on the door from a mean stranger. That's when they knew the pigs were in danger. Now, here's my second rhyming pair, lines 3 and 4. My key phrase from this section was "they built homes for their safety," and I decided to use the word tasty as the rhyming pair with the word safety. It turned into this: a wolf on the prowl who thought bacon was tasty. With straw, sticks, and brick, they built homes for their safety. Now, my last rhyming pair, lines 5 and 6, my key phrase was "the wolf was defeated," and I decided to use the word heated as its rhyming pair. The chimney fire left the wolf heated, and in the end, the wolf was defeated. So, in a minute, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to use the rhyming words that you researched from RhymeZone to fill in and create rhyming pairs with the key phrases that you've already written out. So, once this is done, your verses should now be written. You're going to do this for verse 1, and then you're going to do it again for verse 2, which means you are finally ready to record. Once you have verse 1 and verse 2 written out, I want you to add a voice and microphone track, place the playhead of that track at measure 9, and then record yourself singing or rapping the lyrics of your first verse. Then, when you are done recording that section of your song, you're going to move forward to your second verse at measure 25, and then record yourself singing or rapping the lyrics of your second verse. This is going to be a process, and I hope you're able to use these steps one at a time to complete the process of writing not just one, but 2 verses for your song. Once you're done, your song is almost complete, and we have just a few more things to do in order to make it a full song. Guys, great jobs so far, and good luck this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Bye.